How you doing, has-beens? I am back with a new comic review, and it is Exceptional X-Men #1. And this is from Eve Ewing and Carmen Carnero. And I have been interested in this book. I was actually more interested in the team than the whole premise, really. And I'll get into that. The basic premise is essentially Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost are mentoring a new team of brand new mutants. So it's not going to be a team of your old-time favorites. So I was slightly interested in the premise, but I was really captured by the fact that this was Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, and Eve Ewing was writing, and let's see, Carmen Carnero was doing the art, who I love her work. She is absolutely fantastic. She's one of my favorite Marvel artists currently right now. She did a lot of work on the Kelly Thompson Captain Marvel run, and I just think her stuff is just really beautiful. She's very, like, she can go and do very realistic, like, human kind of scenes, which I like a lot, and they'll go and do the superhero cosmic stuff. She's very good at both, and I just love her work. And Eve Ewing, I have only read a few things from her. Particularly, I read her Ironheart series and really enjoyed that. I think she's a terrific writer, and one of my, Marvel can't do wrong with a writer named Ewing. Essentially, they have two Ewings non-related who are just running around doing really good stuff. So anyway, other than what you've been seeing so far with the other team books, this takes a unique approach, actually, and what it does is strip it all down and focus on one particular character, and it is Kitty Pryde. And we get to see Kitty after we get to see her world after Krakoa, and after being a pirate, and after being a space hero, and all that kind of crap she's been through over the last few years. And she is just kind of in New York, just living her life. She has gotten like a day job. She's working at this bar, pouring mimosas for brunch. And she's just kind of figuring what her next step is. She's kind of just living at the moment. And oh boy, have I been there. So this really kind of spoke to me. She's living with her roommate, let's see, Priya. And let's see, she's just kind of figuring out what to do with herself. She has no dragon, she has no super team, no Wolverine and all that shit. So she's just trying to go about, and she goes out on a date without telling her roommate. She gets stood up, and she decides, like, oh man, what's going on in the street? And there's this club that has this kind of like Korean boy band performing, and she's interested, and then she's quickly not interested. But outside the club, a young girl, Trista, I think her name is, this is a character that's going to be called Bronze. She gets in an altercation with a bouncer, and it gets really violent and serious, where he sort of like activates her powers through an altercation, and that results in him like escalating things to the point of like trying to fucking shoot her. So yeah, it kind of, and of course that just activates Kitty's like hero sensor. Basically, it just goes right into hero mode, saving her. And they have this really touching scene, actually, because Bronze doesn't want to be a superhero or a mutant or whatever. She's just this girl that has a very human, horrified reaction to who and what she is. She thinks she's maybe a cursed monster, but they have this really kind of touching conversation. And for the last couple of years, she's been going through like this thing of like having people call her Kate and getting a little bit more distant with people. And as they say goodbye for the night, she tells her, "You can call me Kitty Pryde." And I kind of love that scene. So there's like, we get to see kind of Kitty's like reactions to listening to people on the street and in the bar, talking about mutants and mutant rights. And it really does kind of like re-emphasize kind of the situation where it's not so much the mutants that have to really worry so much that are the really powerful ones. It's the everyday mutants that are just living their lives and maybe have some weird like mutant power that really doesn't bother anybody, and they just want to live and they just want to go and do things, and just they're the ones who are like under threat, and they're the ones who constantly get, because they don't, have, they're not rich people with mansions and space stations and, special headquarters and super teams. They're just like people like trying to make a living. And, they're the ones, get their asses kicked every day, because of like, people's prejudice against, mutant kind. And she hears that stuff and she sees that stuff every day. And it's kind of gets her going as far as protecting Bronze in this situation. So she's like, maybe I'm going to get back to doing nothing again. And she's trying not to think about it. That's when Emma Frost is, by the way, also kind of going through a rich woman's version of what Kitty's going through. She's kind of held up in her hotel room. It's trashed. She's like probably trashed herself, and she starts mentally checking in, kind of like how we do on social media, but with her brain. And she checks in with Kitty, and she makes contact with her. So obviously this is the start of them kind of like maybe forming a partnership and maybe starting to mentor people. It's kind of interesting to see Kitty on the other side of the mentorship, because we're used to her like growing up and in the shadow of Wolverine and kind of learning and being like a tag along for the older heroes in the beginning, and now she's like grown and developed over the years, so now she's in that position, which I think is really cool. I really love this. I think this is one of my favorite of the Up From the Ashes #1s that we've been seeing. I believe there's one more, the Wolverine #1. I think that's the last one. After that comes out, I'm actually going to do a tier list and talk about my favorites, actually. Because I decided to just pick up all the #1s, which is not something I always do, but this didn't seem like that gigantic of an initiative. It's not like the New 52. It's just like a few issues over the course of a few months, and like I can do that. I can buy that. So I've been doing it, and I'm gonna be talking about them so far. But this one, spoiler alert, this is gonna be high on the list. I really like this one. 5 out of 5 RAM chips. Don't skip this one. This one's excellent. Check it out for right now. So hey. That's what I'm talking about right now. What did you think? Did you read Exceptional X-Men #1? Let me know in the comments below. Help me out with the algorithm, please, so you can see my videos a little bit more by clicking like, subscribe, and the notification bell, which will let you know when videos drop. If that's not good, that's fine. You can follow me on the social medias, where I will also let you know. And a Substack has been made. So every time I make a new video, it'll be on Substack, and you will always see it. You can follow me on Substack for free, and if you want to read my writing and my short stories and comics, there's a paid tier for that. Speaking of which, I am currently doing a Kickstarter right now as we speak for Ladybug, a horror collection, which is my new book of short stories. I'm putting it together right now. I'm right in the first week of the Kickstarter for it. You can go to the link below to help support the book and get it out there if you like indie horror as much as I do. So yeah, we'll be putting out a new book later this fall. So I think that's it for now. Until next time, push the button, Lindsay.